When will the church begin to influence this country? And we're wondering why the rest of the nation isn't listening to us, why they aren't paying any attention to us.
We need to earn the right to be heard.
The church is self-centered, that has lost the credibility of the church. Let me tell you an authority story.
Okay.
It's a good one. I live just outside of Philadelphia, and there's this state hospital, Norristown State Hospital, big place for people who are emotionally disturbed and psychologically messed up. The directors of the hospitals wanted to establish 5 halfway houses in the city of Norristown in different neighborhoods, so that people who they felt were getting better could leave the hospital, go to these halfway houses, and then be nurtured back into the mainstream of society, get jobs, you know, and get their own places. Needless to say, the people of Norristown did not want the crazies living in their neighborhood.
Right.
You can understand that.
Yeah.
So they have this meeting. The city council holds this meeting to have hearings on this. The place is packed with about 400 people squeezed into this hall, screaming and yelling against the halfway houses. City council's up there on the stage behind desks. They listen to all the shouting and screaming and words of opposition, anger. They vote unanimously against the proposal. No sooner had they finished than the back doors of the room open, and in comes Mother Teresa. She had heard about this, and she had gotten to the meeting late. She was in town to dedicate a new house for the Sisters of Charity, and she heard about this. She came to the meeting, but she got there late, after the vote was taken. She comes down the aisle. She gets down on her knees in front of the city council, raises her arm. The television cameras have followed her into the place. Got the picture? Got her hands up. She's begging. She says, in the name of Jesus, make room for these, his children. If you reject them, it's the same as though you were rejecting Jesus. Whatever you do to the least of them, you are doing to him. And then 5 times in a row, the paper reported, she cried out, please, 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 make room for them in your neighborhoods. Make room for them as neighbors. Now, you're the city council. Mother Teresa's on her knees in front of you. The television cameras are grinding away. What are you going to do? Somebody moved to rescind the motion and to vote in favor of the halfway house. All of them voted.
Was it unanimous?
Unanimous. And the papers reporting it the next day said, the most amazing thing was of the 400 plus people squeezed into that hall, there was not one word of opposition to the motion. The people who had been yelling against it a minute or two earlier were now silenced, because Mother Teresa spoke, and she spoke as one having
authority.
And where did she get that authority? On the streets of Calcutta, taking care of the poor and the oppressed of the world. Which gets back to the question that our friend from Indiana raised. When will the church begin to influence this country? When will the church speak with authority? And the answer is...
Hasn't earned the right.
It's got to earn the right.
It's got to earn the right.
It's got to begin to be viewed as a group of people who are lovingly sacrificing.
Well, they've earned the right in New Orleans.
Yeah, a little bit there, yeah.
Yeah, and the church has done some good. I mean, the church has done a lot of good.
Yeah, but not enough.
Not enough.
With its vast resources. I mean, think of the billions of dollars at its disposal.
I know.
I mean, what it could do with the millions of people who belong to these churches. Yeah. What could be done?
Now, you're talking all churches, Catholic, Protestant, Baptist, but you know the Catholics, I'm not a Catholic, so I'm speaking out of turn here, but they got all those gold. What if they sold all that?
Well, I think that Mother Teresa would be raising that issue. The point is that if the Pope had done the same thing, I don't think it would have had the same effect, because the Pope has power.
Oh, interesting.
Mother Teresa has authority. If you're going to listen to one or the other, who would you rather listen to, Mother Teresa or the Pope?
I kind of lean towards Mama.
I think you would go towards Mama, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
She speaks with I have one other story to tell you about authority.
Okay.
There was a a guy that we recruited years ago to work in our ministries in the Dominican Republic. And a medical doctor came out of the University of Chicago Medical School, set up medical practice, was making a lot of money. And the Spirit of God got to him. So he went back to his homeland, the Dominican Republic. 2 days a week, he would do surgery and take care of rich people and make money. 3 days a week, he would take that money. And when I say take that money, I mean all of it. Buy medicine, load it in his pickup truck. 3 days a week, he would do that and drive down to the slums. And then he would take care of poor people who couldn't afford a doctor, who couldn't afford to buy medicine, all day long, giving away his services, giving away the medicine that he bought with the money that he had earned. And at the end of the day, he climbed on top of the truck. I went with him one day. He climbed on top of the truck, called for people to gather around. And people came by the hundreds to gather around in this place called Guachapita. And he preached the gospel. I mean, he preached the gospel. I'm standing on the edge of the crowd, and there's a guy named Socrates Perez, a brilliant student at the school. He spoke English. I knew him. He was a communist. He was the head of the Che Guevara Society at the university campus. Good kid who wanted to help the poor, but didn't see that the church was doing it. And that's why he joined the communists. I went over and I nudged him. And I said, Socrates, Elias is preaching the gospel. He's winning converts. If he keeps this up, there's not going to be anybody left for you. I was just joking with him. He didn't see any humor in this. I wasn't sure whether there was envy or anger in his voice. As he pointed to Elias Santana, he said, what can I say? What can I say? Elias Santana has earned the right to be heard.
Whoa.
He spoke as one having
Authority. Whoa.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
So that's the problem. The church does not have enough Mother Teresa's and
we need
Elias
to
Santana
earn the right to be heard.
And we're wondering why the rest of the nation isn't listening to us, why they aren't paying any attention to it. And thus, I would say, there's a connection between the church's self-centeredness and its tendency to spend money on itself rather than on the poor and the oppressed that has lost the credibility of the church.
Do you think it's the big buildings?
Oh, that helps.
Where are you going to put the people if you don't have a building?
You know, the church got along for 300 years without any buildings at all. And they were our best years up until the time of Constantine. We can use movie theaters on Sunday morning. Yeah. Why do you have to build a big auditorium?
Or buy one that's already built.
Yeah, or, you know, I mean, there's so many ways. You rent a hotel ballroom for Sunday morning instead of building it. We joke in sociology, we call ministers who are always building buildings suffering from an edifice complex.